Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now, this video is going to be a slightly different one, and it's really born out of speaking to a few clients recently. Now, what I'm going to be doing is covering different Performance Max campaign models that you need to be testing if you run an e-commerce business. I've been auditing a lot of Google Ad accounts, speaking to a lot of business owners in the e-com space, and one of the most common themes or problems that really I think it is that a lot of business owners, they're running a Performance Max campaign, which is a one-size-fits-all approach. And they are just doing that regardless of their industry, their price points, their unit economics, and it's super, super weird, and it's giving them super suboptimal results. Now, what do I mean by that? They have one PMax campaign that just has all of their products in it within one asset group using really generic copy, and they expect it to do all the heavy lifting for them. Now, as good as Performance Max campaigns are, you need to be strategic in the way that you deploy your PMax campaigns around your products, and that's exactly what this video is for. Now, one thing I do want to say before we jump in is that Performance Max is easily one of the most powerful campaign types that Google Ads have actually released in the last few years. So if you follow these four models I'm about to cover, well, this can significantly take your business to the next level. And I mean adding an extra 100, 200, 300K a year plus. And I know that for a fact because we do these exact models for our clients. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So in this video, I'm going to be covering 4 Performance Max models that you need to be testing if you're an e-commerce brand to scale revenue. Now, the first one is your hero products model. Model B is your high profit margins model. Model C is your cold acquisition model. And Model D, which is a new one we're just testing, but we're seeing great results with, is the customer retention model. So moving down and breaking down what each model is in detail. Now, the hero product model pretty much follows a linear structure. You're just going to have a campaign with one asset group, with one product feed, which is segmented into your winning products. Now, typically we define winning products as the products that sell the most, generate the majority of your business's revenue, your e-com store's revenue, at your target ROAS or higher. So if those products meet those 3 conditions, they should technically fall within the hero product definition and go within this campaign. Now, in reality, this is going to be around 3 to 5 products. If it does mean, or if it does work out to more when you follow this approach, that's totally fine. Now, this Performance Max model follows a very linear approach, right? And it is designed to drive a singular focus into your winning core products. And by that, I mean you have a single campaign with a dedicated budget that is constantly pushing your winning products that the Google Ads algorithm is able to match and find customers for easily. Now, when you do that, you pretty much have a money printing machine because not only can you push a massive budget behind it, but you can turn up the ROAS to really just print you money. Now, one thing I want to mention with this exact model here, with this model, is that I find this works best when you just run this as a PMax shopping feed only campaign. Now, I personally don't have a video on this yet. I probably will make one at some point, but there are lots of videos out there that show you how to do that. So feel free to check those out. So I don't like to include any ad copy, any image assets, video assets. I just run this as pretty much a advanced shopping campaign, which is all a PMax shopping feed only campaign is. Now, why do you need this model in the first place, right? As this model is designed to allocate budget into products that are already performing well, it makes scaling conversions at a higher ROAS a lot easier. And that's because this campaign is no longer splitting budget between lower performing products that are siphoning off and skewing results in a negative way. These products are not having to compete for budget against low performing products, which traditionally bring down the overall performance for the campaign as a whole. So I know I'm pretty much repeating myself here, but I just really want to drill in that point. Okay, so that is the first model here, the hero products model. If you are not doing this, please do. This will absolutely transform your Google Ads account. It will transform your business. Okay, moving on to the next model, which is the high profit margins model. Now, what is this model? It is simply you having a campaign dedicated towards your highest profit margin products, right? Now, typically the way we structure this is having the one PMax campaign. And then what we do is we have several asset groups based around the product category themes. So for example, we run ads for a luxury furniture business, and we have an asset group around high profit margin tables, chairs, and sofas. For your business, whether it's clothing, jewelry, skincare, all you need to do is just do the maths. The whole point of this is that the PMAX campaign for your high profit margin products just contains your high profit margin products. That's honestly it. But then segmenting out into different asset groups will just allow you to optimize the ad copy, the creatives, and the landing pages where necessary. Now, just getting into the breakdown of this specific model. Similar to the hero products model, the high profit margins model is designed to only focus on pushing your most profitable products, i.e. the products which have the highest profit margins and make you the most money when somebody buys, right? So of course you want to prioritize them, just like with the hero products. Now, why do you need this model? The purpose of this model is to allow you to tap into your most premium products that are going to drive you the highest return on ad spend. So really straightforward model, really easy to understand. Again, so many businesses do not run this. Now, you ideally want to segment these out into different asset groups. This will allow you to provide specific audience signals, very important, feed segmentations, creatives, and ad copy for each product, i.e. sofas, chairs, tables, like the example I gave you. By simply doing this alone, you are going to transform your Google Ads account again and your business as a whole. So again, we've got hero products, high profit margin products. Those two alone can honestly add an extra 20 to 30% revenue to your business a month. Now, moving on to the cold acquisition model. Now, this is one which is really underutilized, really underutilized. But I love this, and this is something we've pushed very aggressively for a lot of our clients. And if you have your unit economics down as a business, and by that I mean, you know, things like your long-term value for your customers, you really know your profit margins, your break-even ROAS, for example, down to a T for each product, well, the cold acquisition model is going to work for you. Now, again, the purpose of this model is designed for scaling new customer acquisition across cold audiences, and the focus should be only on entry-level products. Okay, this will require your feed segmentation to be structured primarily around lower price products and lower friction products that do not require a lot of upfront investment. Now, why is that the case? Because the purpose of this PMAX model is to only go out and target brand new people who have largely never heard of your business. Well, if they've never heard of your business, it's pretty hard to convince someone to spend $500, $2,000, $10,000 in one go. But it's really easy to get them to spend $50, $100, even $200, right? So that's the psychology behind it. But the further or the deeper layer to this is that once somebody buys, well, they'll buy again and they'll buy again and they'll buy again, which is why knowing your LTV is super important. Because if you can get somebody to buy via a lower priced or low friction product, well, they've now got their foot in the door. You can now email them, you can retarget them. They'll just love the product in general and buy again. So just like that, you've now created this new cycle of customers that Google is finding for you on autopilot and bringing in. So that is a really cool model. I highly recommend you do. Now, the way that you can really structure this is super simple. All you need to do is go into your campaign settings, go to the customer acquisition section, and all you want to do is click on this option here, which is bid for new customers only. What this is going to do is just only target new customers, so anyone who's never bought from you before. And again, it's a great way of just really bringing in a new influx of traffic that is going to convert into customers and bring in a new wave of repeat business, which most ecom stores are set up to do, especially nowadays. So highly recommend you do this. Now, again, why do you need this model? This Performance Max model solely focuses on one of the biggest challenges all e-commerce brands face or have, and that is scaling new customer acquisition without destroying your ROAS. That is it. And that's how powerful this, that is why this campaign model or this PMAX model is so important, because it allows you to solve that one problem, which is pretty much the biggest problem all e-com brands have in a single campaign. Now, word of caution here. you probably will need to do some product testing within this campaign, okay? It's not as simple as just picking your lowest price products. You actually need to test the market when it comes to this particular campaign to figure out what products the market deems as entry level or first time buyer products. So there is a lot of testing. Now, as well as using this option here in the campaign settings for your PMAX, for this PMAX anyway, which bids for new customers only, what I actually want you to do is go in and apply brand exclusions for your own brand, which you should be doing for pretty much for all of your campaigns anyway. But for this one in particular, you definitely want to do it because that way you will have a net positive audience of people who have never heard of your business before, never searched, never been on your website, and you will truly be able to bring in that new wave of customers who are then going to have a really long-term life cycle with you that you will then monetize on. Okie dokie. Moving on to the very last model, which is the customer retention model. Now, this is the newest model we are testing at my agency, but we are seeing great results with this. Now, what is the customer retention model? Now, this PMAX model allows you to leverage one of the newest features in Google Ads called customer retention. And the purpose of this is to re-engage with lapsed customers and improve customer LTV or lifetime value. Now, what do we mean by lapsed customers? These are people who bought from you in the past but have not bought again. Simple as that, right? So the purpose of this model is to go out and specifically re-engage with those audiences and convince them to buy again. Now, the reason why this is so powerful is because you're already engaging with an audience who is familiar with your brand. So they're already warm. They've already shown interest. They have just not bought again for whatever reason. Maybe they got distracted. Maybe they forgot about you because you wasn't reaching out to them. Maybe they're testing other brands. But when you switch on the customer retention feature, which I'll get into in a second, well, this purposely goes after that specific audience segment of your business and brings them back in. And this is super powerful, increasing LTV. And we're seeing this in all of our analytics tools as well. So I highly recommend that you do this and you're testing this particular model. Now, the way you do this, or rather the way you set this campaign model up within PMAX, is you go into the campaign settings, and just under customer acquisition, you're going to see the customer retention option. All you need to do is fill out the data for your the incremental data for your lapsed customer values. You're going to have normal and high end. You can see here. Plug that in. Plug in any additional first party data that you have. Obviously, save those settings, and Google PMAX rather within Google Ads is going to do its thing and go out and reach those lapsed customers and bring them back into your business. Again, this is kind of like a form of retargeting. But it's going to allow you to really scoop up or add an additional 10 to 15% to your business month on month. At least that's what we're seeing from this particular campaign model that we're testing within our clients' ad accounts. Now, I know I've gone on about this model for a lot of time, but why do you need this model? This model really helps to reduce churn rates by winning back old customers. And then it also allows you to build that long-term loyalty for your brand, because again, it's going to increase the LTV because now customers are buying from you repeatedly. And then ultimately they will just turn into those 1 year, 2 year long-term value customers that just stay with your brand ultimately for life. Cool. So that is it, everyone. I know this was a slightly faster paced video, but this is something I really just wanted to talk about because it's such a common recurring problem that I'm seeing across so many different ad accounts that I'm auditing at the moment within the ecom space. I really hope you enjoyed this. Any questions, please let me know. Free Google Ads course in the description. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.